King. It's so dumb, man. Oh, just look at this crap. Look at this. Look.
Are you lost?
What are we, man? What have we become? What is this? Can you imagine being a Dota 1 player coming back to this and being like, what have we done? What happened to Dota?
I'm just imagining you now singing Hurt. You know, the John Cash version of Hurt. What have I become? No? You don't know it? No? Really? How cultured are you, Michael Phoenix? No, I'm not going to get his copyright strike. No.
Maybe. Let's not get too cocky here, John. Your voice wasn't that good for the AI to play. Copyright. That's the best joke I've heard all year, John. Copyright strike.
The year is young, Mike. We're only halfway through. Only halfway through.
Don't remind me, John.
What's Jocam doing?
He's jumping, John.
Buddy.
He's chasing. It's a 2 for 2 on the bounties. WS could actually pick up a third one, but he will not go north. So it will be allowed to be picked up here by Young God. And as per usual, Jonathan, we can start off with the mid lane, where you are going to see Wonderboy up against Makoto. So the Quap vs Ember matchup used to favor the Ember Spirit. I believe it's still perfectly fine here for Makoto. Wonderboy, we'll see what he gets done here, but I dare say the Ember should have a decent time.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too rough for the Ember Spirit. Again, Quap does have the range advantage, does have the spam with the Shadow Strikes, and does have lane control over the Scream, so it is maybe a little bit more awkward for Makoto to try to play around that. He did go again for the double impact, Sleight of Fist, and we do actually have the Masochist on Wonderboy. This is going to be funny. The reflected damage back to herself is always going to be fun. This is going to be interesting from Wonderboy. The spell amp is huge, but that self-damage can be... it can lead to some really awkward circumstances here for the Quap sometimes.
I have played Quap a couple times in this patch. I only go for the Masochist facet because I'm a real man, Jonathan. I don't go for the other facet. I don't even know the name of it because I don't care. I only go for Masochist. It can be very awkward though. I have killed myself a couple times using that using my spells, so not gonna lie, Wonderboy, maybe be a little bit more careful, sir.
Yeah. Have to see how it pans out. Still taking a look up top, you do have Jocam sitting in the lane. So he is not going crazy. I like what the side of Salvation is doing, just cutting the tree line, giving Jocam less space to play his game of jump. And that does make it a little bit more awkward, but there is still good laning presence here with Darkseer and Monkey King, right? With Iron Shell up, there's some good damage. Double melee lane as well to walk into. Once WS has level 3, this can really get going.
I mean, they're going right now. Sadly, Jocam, I mean, he hit the level 2 mark, but didn't actually hit it in time. Now does go for the Boundless Strike, but it's all too late. Still, very good pressure being applied already by WS. Just on his own, really. I mean, Jocam hasn't been doing too much in the laning phase at all. It's been mostly just this Darkseer. Jocam does move in at the right time every time, and it seems though it's working out pretty well for them. As, of course, we can talk about the final lane as well. You've got bot lane where you're going to see Rupido and Drick against Akashi and Ponyo.
Lloyd?
Seems like a pretty... Oh, they got him. Lloyd is gone.
Yeah. It's this pouncy Monkey King. Just gets on top. He's so damn quick. And again, you've got some good damage. It's double melee into the Darkseer. And Jocam still snaps the courier after anyway. So the shenanigans are still there.
As soon as he sees it, he can close the gap instantly. Like, there's no escape.
Gotta love it. Peak gameplay right there, Mikey. Still taking a look at the other lanes again, down bot. Yeah.
This is the most broken thing in the game. It's so dumb. Like, he actually can't lose any couriers. Bottom lane, Ponyo might drop. And he does. Rupido's still trying to force the fight, but Akashi's just sapped all the damage away. Gets the bash to the deep, but it won't matter. Rupido is indeed down. So a nice little trade there for the side of Talon down at bottom lane. But I think if MK stays the way it is with this facet, it's going to be literally the most busted support in the game.
I think it is. It's got to be banned. Would you say it's more busted than Witch Doctor? Would you rather ban Witch Doctor or Monkey King?
In my pub games, Witch Doctor, but in pro games, like, you can't play against this. Like, you're playing with no couriers in your lane.
It's got to be banned. It's both of them. So that's 2 bans already eaten up by second pick. It makes it rough. The first pick is in such a strong position because of all these instant bans that have to come in. Gives much more first. Still, Again, a pretty strong start coming out for Talon. Their lanes are going well. Mid lane for Mikado, looking back at it, is still in a pretty good spot. Does go for a 0-2-2. Is working Sleight of Fist with the double impact quite nicely to pressure onto Wonder Boy. Mind you, Wonder Boy is not lagging too far behind and is pulling ahead in CS. So you do have this launching point again off the Quap. But you do have Jokam sniping couriers. He's, again, finding that impact on the Monkey King.
Yeah, in the span of the last 30 seconds, I just want to say, by the way, maybe even 20 seconds, he took a Watcher, secured a Water Rune from Makoto, and sniped his courier. That was, I want to say, maximum 15-20 seconds. That was what Joe came, and that was all the way from the top lane. Like, he went all the way from the top lane, did all that stuff, and killed his courier on top. What a stupid hero.
Yeah. It's like Monkey King has a WTF cheat code with Blink. Right?
Yeah,
it almost
that's
feels that way.
literally it.
It's kind of insane. It's funny though. It's very funny. It's not as funny as when Shanks did it and just sat in base and sacked his off lane.
You know, do you see why he's heading up top, by the way, John? Look, his ward's just seen that courier of the Ursa. Like, okay, he's going to get his items, but guess what? I'm going to get all that bonus gold, plus you're not going to have a courier for the next minute and a half. Enjoy your game, Mr. Ursa. Now, that courier is as good. There is no escape for that courier. It is as good as dead.
It almost feels like Marcy is a counter to Monkey King. Just because of the added level in the courier, right? The added hit point. that's taking a bit too far.
Pick Marcy.
Pick Marcy.
Your couriers will run faster.
I don't think that could come into play at some point. You know, we could actually see Monkey King versus Marcy at some point in this qualifier. And we'd be like, wow, that level up on the courier sure saved its life with an additional HP point. Whoa.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, Monkey King, Spirit Breaker support duo. Throw Monkey King in the pos 5. Screw him. Like, give Spirit Breaker pos 4 with the XP bonuses on the innate ability that Monkey King can always catch up. And with the vision you get with Tree Dance, you always have a backup target with the charge. I'm telling you, that is the most broken.
That is true.
It's got to be it's got to be the combo of TI13. I guarantee it.
That is true. That is true. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward if any of these teams figure that out. So you get the go ahead. Salvation has fixed their connection. Of course, shout out to Young God. I believe he is playing from home, which means he's playing in Davao City. Shout out to everyone watching from Davao City. I don't know why I just did that, but they're my homeboys, mate. And I have an excuse because there's someone here. It's a nice city.
I like that.
Quaint.
It was a nice
I don't know if you'd call it quaint, but I think it's quaint.
It was my wife's favorite city in the Philippines, so I'll give you that.
Really?
It was.
Oh.
She liked Davao the best.
Fascinating. I thought you'd like Makati a little bit more. Still down bot. They're nothing like this.
They're moving in. Rupido, he's going to be alright, but Drick probably not so much. Drick's like, wait a minute, I just saw Joe Cam up the top lane just a second ago. How did he get here? But here he is. Off he goes.
Just like that. Yeah, I like the shake-up from Joe Cam. It's the full potential of what the Monkey King could be, right? Not just focusing on career sniping and winning the lanes that way, but just using this vision, using this mobility to look for these pickoffs. They've got a good solo lane for WS to play with, although he's in a bit of trouble right now with his Surge gone.
He's in a lot of trouble. Problem is Rupido's in even bigger trouble. And they still find a great trade across the map. Like, you kill off WS, sure, but Rupido will drop on the slider, and even Wonder Boy's being watched now. Is Joe Cam going to be spotted by the vision of Trick? He just gets a D-ward. He just D-wards immediately. He was just standing there watching Drick push that ward down. So now there's no ward for the mid lane, and Drick's going to die on top of it because why the hell not? Joe Cam's trying to move in. Watching out for Wonder Boy, of course. Drick still okay. Wonder Boy's going to eventually move in, I think, as they will miss the Primal Spring. Joe Cam's still being spotted out, does have to back off, but now Wonder Boy's in trouble. He'll find at least the Tree and Protector, and does actually make it away. For now, but Joe Cam's still chasing them down, by the way, here, John. He's not done yet, but he has no trees to jump to, so he has to leave.
That's actually pretty big for Salvation to manage to snag away the amp damage rune from Mikado as well, and Kashi's all alone.
Oh, that's a big one. That's a big one. They found the Pos 1 Razor. I mean, maybe these shenanigans, I mean, they might be distracting just a little bit for Talon as well. You know, Joe Cam's still hanging around mid lane here with Makoto.
I do feel like this target prioritization is correct. Just try to pressure this Quap, prevent the early build-up. Wonderboy is rushing a Dagon, so wanting to really play with that spell amp you do get with a Masochist, which is a nice solution overall. But I'm keen to seeing how much it can get done here for Wonderboy, all things considered. You are still having a decent time for Akashi, despite the death. He is still up there in net worth. You are getting a much freer lane for Young God up top, at the least. So there is that. Like the solo lane up against WS, you can just sit back and farm. I'm wondering how confident Talon is in just allowing this Ursa to farm. They should know that this is going to be a Battle Fury build anyhow, so it will take time anyways for the Ursa to really be a threat with Battle Fury blink timing. And that's something they can capitalize. Maybe look for the tier 1 top while some pressure is applied bot, as it looks like Salvation is starting to clump around that bot area now. Kashi already hanging back to just keep the farm game, and they will just seemingly go for the tower trade, although there is an opportunity onto Mikado, but the wards are still protecting. No sentries on Lloyd. It's not like they can really jump onto that Ember at the moment. I wonder what power rune he gets. No amp damage opportunity. Maybe an Arcane could give Mikado a lot of play here? Nah.
It does get a regen. Not the action rune you're looking for here, but it's something, as they are going to find Lloyd. I saw the cutest thing, by the way, John, from Joe Cam. I'll tell you in just a moment, is Lloyd. Nice little toss from onto Makoto, I suppose. Wonderboy probably not too happy about it, though, as Makoto eventually just going to be able to retreat. And again, he does have a regen rune available, so doesn't really care about all the damage that was dealt to him. Just pops the regen, and he'll be perfectly fine to stay in the mid lane. And I saw Joe Camp for a moment press the twin gates, and I was like, why? Just run across the map, sir. It's cheap.
Yeah.
Here we go, look at this.
Point.
Wonderboy. In case you weren't aware, sir, the MK could be here at any moment. They're going to bring two supports in. They've got the Monkey King. They'll toss him back to Wonderboy. Joe Camp will finally pay for his sins, or maybe not, as Makoto was trying to move in to secure the kill, but not quite. They'll get the Monkey.
And they get the freebie. It does take, again, quite the attention on mid. 3 years mid just find Monkey. Freeing up top, Young God.
Young God, that's a big pickoff. He'll try to make the run, but once the rage is off, it doesn't really matter. Akashi will have his way with him. And suddenly that top tier 1 tower, of course, just not going to last. It's gone. Nothing you can do about it. Even Wonderboy in the Quap doesn't really have any rotation plays to make either. Like, it's kind of the thing with mid-Quap at the moment. You just need so many levels and at least one core item before you can really make these big rotations happen. He is going for the Dagon, by the way, which makes enough sense because it will basically ruin the outgoing spell damage reflected here on the Quap with the spell lifesteal of the Dagon, but before that Dagon's up, he doesn't really have any game.
He might be able to punish WS.
Tosses up, WS. Does have a TP to play with. He can actually just TP away, and Boundless will ensure they have no follow-up. No Sonic Wave to come out. Beautiful Boundless strike from Joe Cap, and that's going to be about it. WS is fine.
And this Monkey King's doing way too much. This hero just does way too much across the map. Like, this movement he has is... It's definitely going to get nerfed at some point for sure. I think you just can't have that. Like, feels like a free kill. WS is solo, suddenly it's not. You can scout out these stacks, spotting out Drick.
He's had a pretty rough time as it is here on the Shadow Demon, but will once again go down. Makoto able to pick up his second kill of the game already. Wonderboy, mid lane, currently being watched. Keep in mind they only have level 2 chains on Makoto, but that could be enough to actually lock him down. It won't though, Makoto won't bother throwing it up, but they can just look towards the mid tier 1 tower. Siege creep available. They've got plenty of vision being provided by Joe Camp. That tier 1 mid tower, it's as good as gone. This is just surgical so far from Talon, it really is. Like, there's just, you know, the laning stage has gone absolutely horribly here for the dive.
There's not much play. Again, the best lane they had was probably Wonderboy's mid. And the Dagon is slowly forming up, so there is that burst to play with a spell lifesteal to offset that reflected damage, as you mentioned. I just don't think you're finding enough in Young God, right? Like, this Battle Fury is still 2 parts away. Not too bad in the recipe, but to play more certainly is going to take more time. After that, you're going to need Blink, you're going to need a BKB perhaps on top of it. Akashi's already on his way to his Manta, so he's going to feel a little bit more protected. You've got level 6 up already as well on Ponyo, so the Overgrowth is available on hand. They are smoked out here on the side of Salvation. One big thing, again, like we talked about in draft, Tiny does feel like you need that blink to really be effective. And although I suppose with a Shadow Demon, you can start with the disruption first.
Well, the problem is they're just not leveled enough, I don't think. They're 5k behind already. Lloyd is the first one to get caught, though he will go for a toss play onto Makoto. Makoto is actually blown up. Alright, Makoto is completely annihilated here by Rupido with the toss back setup. So a very nice start for the side of Salvation Gaming. The rest of Talon, of course, not looking to go too much further, but they will at least get the stacks away here in the triangle of the Dire. And so ultimately, you lose your Ember, you find a Tiny, not the greatest trade, but you still get a lot of farm for yourself. And for the side of the Dire, I mean, Wonderboy might just be dying here because he just blinked right into them, not realizing they were right behind, and he is gone. Very bad news for this Dire end of things. The Salvation Gaming will lose their own mid lane.
Yeah, it's actually Mikado to find that as well. So a nice little pickup. I think his illusion actually managed to get the last right click off that was chasing earlier. And that offsets it. 9-6, 6k lead for Talon. Smooth going so far. Again, this is a lot of space out for Young God on the Ursa. But this has to pay off. Like, once this Battle Fury's up, the farm has to accelerate into at least the blink. And then try to look for a pickoff into a quick Roche. And that's the point when Salvation can start to feel like they're back in control of this game. Still, Lloyd?
Chase is on now for the Tiny. And poor old Lloyd, I mean, he's got no help. Not really. Joe Camp's here, I think he spotted the courier. Lloyd, he's gone. Nothing he could have done about that, as Makoto, in the meantime, on the right side of the map, actually just taking on Rupido on his own. Wonderboy and Drake are both around Makoto, forcing out the Demonic Purge, but he's okay to just run it out of them. So Purge is on cooldown for nothing, really. That'll be unavailable for another minute. And now suddenly you've got Joe Cam hunting down Wonderboy once again. Rupido's right around the corner, and there is a blink away. So Wonderboy's fine. Talon, they're already onto that tier 2 mid tower. Just no chill right now from this Radiant end of things.
Just slow, progressive gameplay, taking the objectives, finding these wins, cutting off map control from the side of Salvation. Salvation all clumped up by that tier 2. Again, this is space for the Ursa, but not space for anyone else. Rupido, his progression, will have the blink soon. And that gives you more options here. Ideally, you'd want to tie that in with a tiny blink, but still a ways off for Lloyd, considering the slower game. For Talon's part, you're already Mage Slayer up in Mikado, cutting off a lot of burst damage you want to play with on Wonderboy. So that kind of takes off that facet entirely. You've got, again, Akashi already up with Manta, going into a Linken's just to protect from the Demonic Purge. They're keeping all the lanes shoved in. They're making it hard to access across the map for Salvation. They're making it hard to even just play in your own jungle here for Salvation Gaming as well. And it's all down to all of this vision and movement that you have with an Ember and Monkey King.
Still waiting very, very patiently here, Salvation. It's just very hard to find an opening. There's just none to come. They'll get a scan off onto WS, but can they even get the jump in? I mean, Rupido's going to blink up, but this is still very risky. He'll go for it eventually, but it's very, very half-hearted. Now the Wukong's command will come out, the wall is dropped. Youngblood is going to try and jump in, but there's the overgrowth out now from Ponyo. They'll drop a huge Sonic Wave onto 4 heroes, but Younggod's been left behind. It's just so forced. Wonderboy trying to run, blink up in 1 second. He does get it away, but Joe Cam can just hunt him down. There's really just no escape. He gets the blink, but the Spirit Vessel's still going. And again, Joe Cam's going to give you all the vision. They don't even need it. It was just a very forced fight. Like, you could tell Rupido did not want to jump in. He does it, you know, unwillingly, it almost looked like, and it does cost them 3 heroes.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure on Salvation. You know, I get what's happening to them. Like, they feel like things need to happen. They feel like they need to be able to take this fight into Roshan. try to retake control of the map. They feel like they have decent information. They did have some good wards spread set up, but Talon has their own wards as well on the ramp. So they knew the angle being taken. And again, when it comes down to these wider team fights for Talon, it's Overgrowth, Wukong's back wall. It's just so much easier for Talon to play a big 5v5 engage, whereas for Salvation, they need to look for pickoffs. And if you're looking for pickoffs, this Darkseer with an early Guardian Greaves, it's not the target. It's just too tanky for you to get that first play off and hope that you can retreat in time.
CT top tower just slowly being chipped away at. Like, there's just nothing that these boys can really do about it at the moment. Salvation desperately just trying to get some initial farm going on their cores, but it's still just such a stretch for them. Like, you've got the Battle Fury up on the Ursa, but he's just trying to get towards that Blink to actually be able to be active. You're still always going to have the issue of Akashi on this Razor just being an absolute menace towards this Ursa in the middle of a fight. It's going to be a two-man smoke here from the side of Talon. But we'll kind of just leave this, trying to bait the other side in. Lloyd will move in on the Tiny, and so will the Queen of Pain. Young God's going to show up in the mid lane, and this could be actually bait from Salvation's end of things, but it doesn't seem like it's going to really be taken. Talon instead going to head back up top, allow Akashi to just take that tier 2 top tower, and well, there'll be no fight to come. Like, just take the top tier 2 for free.
Yeah, it's very, again, very stable, calculated game out from Talon. Salvation just looking for this catch-up, looking for these timings, looking for that additional blink on Lloyd and on Young God, which is fairly close, to be fair. But they are losing a lot of ground. Some really sneaky wards coming out here as well, watching in the deeper jungle up top from Ponyo. None of the tier 1s falling yet because you are up against a Treant Protector who can just shove out these lanes. Heck, no living armor up to even heal these towers. Just good clearance. Like, you haven't had room for Salvation to even cross the river. At 18, 19 minutes in, all of these towers are still fairly healthy. Even if you get these blinks, I'm not sure if you can really find Roche off the back. You will need kills. They are trying to move in.
There is vision here from the Radiant end as well, don't forget. Makoto standing right on top of this water as they do try to jump in, but a nice sleight of fist, and now the back wall! Oh, they caught 4 of them! They have caught all 4! Lloyd is already gone. Everyone else just needs to get out. It is not safe, and Makoto will continue hunting them down. He'll miss out on Rupido, but it won't really matter. Now they're looking at the mid-tier 2 tower. This isn't exactly a draft that you expect to take tier 2 towers this early on, but they are just dominating the game so much so that they will.
Yeah, it's just uncomfy. Salvation. They have no teamfight options outside of a huge crush or a huge avalanche out. And beyond that, it's almost all single target focused. So they can't fully commit for these fights. Overgrowth is still available for Talon as well. And the options are just very limited. They need to have that confidence on Rupert to jump in with Wonderboy and burst someone down.
They got Lloyd. He's going to toss in Ponyo, but Ponyo's easily going to go for a nice overgrowth out, killing off Lloyd. Wonderboy will run. Drick's in trouble. Wonderboy still being chased down here by Akashi. The blink range was not quite long enough, but it won't matter. They'll go after Drick instead. Take down the easier kill on the Shadow Demon. And at this stage of the game, it's really starting to just feel like Salvation Gaming. I mean, they can't even get out of their base at this point, John.
No.
You go past that T2 tower, you're just dead.
You pretty much are. We've got the full auras up in WS, full pipe now ready. So even that AoE burst that can come out from Wonderboy is not going to feel as amazing. And Talon just have complete control. They haven't gone back to their side of the map. Another smoke out for Talon. See if they find anything. Salvation trying to go for a long smoke, trying to sneak a Roshan now, with that blink on Young God. And this can be a factor. It doesn't take too long with a Corrosive Haze once that's applied here. And that can catch Talon off guard, but I think in a vacuum, 2 lives on the Ursa isn't the biggest threat. Not yet. Not without BKB.
No, it feels like you're more so denying the Aegis away from Talon than anything. Right, like, because, yeah, the double life on Ursa means nothing at the moment for Young God. If anything, it's just going to be a farming Aegis. WS, in fact, might just find him in a moment. The Darkseer narrowly missing out as Young God does decide better than going for that young, rather the small camp. It's about to call it a young camp for a second. I guess, in theory, it is a young camp, John. You know, they are young boys down there.
That is fair, but that just makes Young God sound like a monster. The Young God coming to the young camp, killing the younglings. That's quite the vision, Mike.
It is very terrifying.
What do you think of, Mike, that night? What do you dream of?
I
What
don't
sneak?
think
Why do these thoughts intrude on your mind, Mike?
my dreams died long ago, Jonathan, when we started casting over 2 years. I'll tell you right now. I haven't dreamed ever since. Let me tell you.
Oh, Lloyd?
Yeah, Lloyd's had a tough time. So is Rupido. Ponyo's going to have a great time overgrowthing both these boats in just a second, as he does only find Rupido. But that's the main target you want anyway. You remember that Monkey King that wasn't laning, John? Joe Camp's actually doing a lot of damage right now, as Lloyd's in trouble. And Lloyd is probably set to fall. He'll go for a quick toss away. Ponyo's still in the chase. Gets the root off. Hands up here from Lloyd. At least he has a, you know, he's got a good attitude here, John. He'll have a laugh with himself. This bottom lane, I believe they saw the Ursa there for a second, but he does TP away in time. But in the meantime, of course, mid-tier 2 tower does drop here thanks to Talon. And the only outer tower left standing is actually the bottom lane, where you will see Akashi already making his way up.
Yeah. It's a rough time for Salvation. Again, not even any tier 1 from Talon falling down. 18-7 in Talon's favor. Just feels like these timings have not lined up. They're still waiting for Lloyd's blink. You've almost got an Orchid up in Rupido, which can maybe catch Mikado off guard. You've also got the full BKB almost completed in Young God. Maybe by then, some of these fights can go better, and they will try with the smoke out. Rather curious they use the smoke now instead of just waiting for this BKB. Around 800 gold. See if it pans out.
I mean, they're going to try for something. They've still got that Aegis up for another 2.5 minutes on their Ursa, but you just kind of question how much impact that's going to happen, that's going to have here in this game, number one. I mean, for now, it seems like they're actually just going to try and push out some creep waves in the mid lane. Talon are showing on the map. I mean, they're all down at that bottom lane, just hitting that tier 2 tower. Apart from maybe Ponyo, who's just pushing out the top wave. And this smoke is really just a farming smoke. Like, they'll just relocate across to the safer side of the map, farm where they can, and just avoid Talon altogether, because there's no fighting them at the moment, even with the double life up.
Yeah. It's just a time to try to recover, try to hit this timing back. And Talon, at the very least for Salvation, they are starting to cross the river a little bit into that triangle.
Oh, they've at least found Ponyo there for a moment, but Ponyo's actually going to survive as now Akashi gets a static link up onto Wonder Boy, who tries to blink away, but he blinks right by the base. Oh, and Akashi knew he was within perfect range for the plasma field. Like, you had to go for a different kind of blink, like any other direction.
Oh,
anyway, it doesn't really matter. Top lane, Young God, he's alright, he'll barely make it out. But it's just such a stretch to see them making a comeback now as it's a 16k advantage, Jonathan. It's pretty rough.
Yeah. It's hard to see it. They do have that BKB on Young God, at least all finished up. Whether or not that's enough, I don't think so. Not really. You still have to worry about being linked up by this Razor. They've got Lincoln's coming out on Talon, already have it on Akashi. You've got Mikado with his fully done as well. So the Demonic Purge is not going to be as much of an issue. You've got the Gleipnir coming out for Mikado on top of that. I mean, it's just very clean from Talon. You know, not giving any openings, not playing too brash. Playing it safe. Playing to their advantage. Hold out. Oh.
Lane. They're going to find a Yule Scepter off onto the Ursa. Young God will get locked down by the chains. The Plasma Field can connect. Young God actually just dying to the chip damage as he does actually lose his first life. Still, they will toss in Akashi, but Akashi's perfectly fine to turn around as now a big back wall. WS finding another 3 targets. They'll buy back on their Shadow Demon, but what's Strict going to do? There's nothing to be done here, John. There's no defense to be had.
No. There really isn't. Again, it's this lack of team fight. They need these pickoffs to work out. It's Talon that's jumping them every single time. Oh?
Yeah, they're going. Static link out onto Wonder Boy. He'll be able to blink away just barely, but they're tier 3 mid tower. They've only given more damage to Akashi now, so Akashi takes it even faster. Still waiting to find a way to jump in and start a fight here is the side of Salvation. Makoto is actually just doing so much damage chipping away with the Sleight of Fist. And that's your mid-racks down at 26 minutes in. Nothing can be done to stop it.
No. Again, it's just down to how this draft works. It's very focused on just finding pickoffs, playing off of that advantage, playing off of that tempo, going into Roshan, using that to keep that tempo up. And Talon never giving him the opportunity. Joecamp's been such a disruptive beast on Monkey. And the coordination from Talon to get all of these teamfight setups, find every single piece of control every single time, has just held the side of Salvation back. Again, they haven't taken the tier 1 here, Mike. 22-7, 21k lead, and the Radiant side of the map is just clean.
But it certainly is right how it's
Trying to think, what can you find here that simplifies this? Like, Drake is going for a blink. Again, you still have this Orchid from Rupido into a BKB. I just don't know if BKB save you. If Ponyo just plays it patiently with his blink, Overgrowth still ruins you. Static Blink doesn't care for BKB either. It's just... It feels like you have to somehow get forward vision, smoke into that spot, and punish. But that's all easier said than done. There's just no way you can sneak out of the space right now.
It sure doesn't feel like it, John. Just continue to control the map as Talon. We'll see Wonderboy in the mid lane. Wonderboy's going to be very careful. Boundless Strike is out. They've already committed the chains, so Wonderboy will be okay. The one who cleanse was out from his Shadow Demon just in case he needed it.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Still trying to buy Young God more and more time to give themselves a chance back into this game 1. But the bottom tier 3 is now being forced in as Makoto does land another chains out onto the Queen of Pain, but the Yule Scepter will be there. Wonderboy now getting a static link off onto Lloyd will mean that Lloyd is just immediately dead. And that tier 3 tower, of course, is really not going to last. I mean, they've got a creep skip or something. They'll get the TPs off to try and defend. Looks like they did actually take one creep wave out, but that's not going to be enough. T3 tower's gone. Onto the bottom racks they go.
And they did manage to get a pick off on Joecam at least, but it doesn't change the outcome of this fight. It's some good gold to get onto Young God. It does have the Basher fully done with the BKB. Just doesn't feel like the Ursa can fully commit. Like, okay, he jumps in. If Ponyo just sits back with Overgrowth, you're still going to be kited around. Like, the solutions are just hard to find for Salvation. Another rack's taken. Talon play it safe. Need to repair top first before looking for that push. They could look for next Roshan as well. Akashi just getting some Eye of the Storm armor stacks done onto the Fermenter and just going to clear it out solo. Very nice. Free shard for Joecam as well. He's going to be happy. Even more mobility for a Monkey King here with Boundless. And he's going for the Nullfire. He actually has the gold to just finish up this Nullfire. He has more form than Rupido.
He's the same level as the mid-quap. That's how badly this game's going for Salvation. The Monkey King that wasn't laning is the same level right now. Here we go. Talon, they're moving in again. Smoke out. They want to go for that final lane of barracks, and they're going to find Drake. Drake does get the Demonic Cleanse off, but the Boundless Strike actually just doing so much damage. He almost just dies to one Boundless as Drake is gone. Akashi in the meantime does get a link off, however, he's in a bit of danger. Akashi, no, the back wall! WS again!
Oh my god.
Not allowing it, not giving the opening. Oh boy, another wipeout here for Salvation as they call the GG. My goodness, a dominant game 1 to say the very least here against Salvation Gaming. Well, do I dare ask what you think that Salvation needs to change up here in this game?
His former teammates. Akashi already trash talking. What? He said they brought out your look. You brought out your lookalike.
Oh, he's talking to the punch. That's all right. Oh, Lloyd, look at that. Lloyd's got him. Ponyo. Here Chris dive out. He's all right. That is not nice from Akashi. My goodness. How dare he?
My skill build level 1.
Oi. It's starting to look like my pubs. Every time you escape, they're like, yeah, but wrong skill, idiot. XD. Anyway.
Oh, God.
to battle.
You know what really annoys me? When you skill up Greater Bash level 1 and your teammates ping it like you're meant to level up charge. Every time they try to go for a first blood, they get upset that you didn't level up level 1 charge. It just really, really annoys me. Because it's not good. Greater Bash is much better, especially during the laning stage.
I mean, it is, but you know, there are some circumstances.
No, there's
Some
not,
very
John.
niche circumstances. We have seen that, have we not? Seen level 1 charge before?
If I see it right now, I'm going to get upset. Joe Cam, get the hell out of there. Get out of there. We're alright. It is going to be a 2-for-2 trade on the banner, so a nice even start. Yes, we've seen it sometimes, John, but it's, you know, very, very niche.
Yeah. I'm saying maybe that niche circumstance is what you found yourself in, Mike, you know?
WS?
Perhaps.
I feel
Lloyd.
better already.
Lloyd, he pump faked the hook like 3 times. Why? I mean, I guess for the added range? He could have gotten that hook on WS, but I guess he wanted the range for the sake of the facet doing more damage.
Yeah. That's the one awkward thing. If you want to try to maximize it. Still, we'll see how much they can get out in that lane. Looking at mid for a little while. Probably the most stable lane. Wonder Boy up against Mikado. Ember versus Puck. Very straightforward for both sides. Shouldn't be too bad for the Ember. Puck can have some play, but this is definitely a little bit better for the Ember Spirit overall.
What?
As
The bot lane, he
happened.
just lost half his creep wave. Joe Cam tried to go for a pull. He lost half the creep wave. It randomly lost aggro on Joe Cam, and now it's been pulled to a large camp thanks to Lloyd. This bottom lane is just such a weird kind of affair right now. As Young God's being chased down now by WS. Young God will be alright, but I mean, I don't think we caught it anyway. But Joe Cam just lost vision, lost aggro for no reason on a full creep wave. It was very strange.
Oh, what can you do? Happens sometimes, I suppose. Losing out to the denies as well. That's pretty clever from Lloyd to just get the camp and just cut off. So you're not getting the free XP you'd want to here on Jokam, and that can hurt quite badly. You are getting a nice lane so far for Young God. So the laning start in terms of just CS across the board, much better for Salvation. Their lanes do feel a little bit stronger with what they do have to offer, especially bot and WS. Does have the axes ready, can start to spam out, but he's playing so cautiously. He's hugging these creeps, trying to hide from the hooks up top, of course. Did have Kashi and Panyo laning up against Rupido, as we see Mikado a little bit low on mid. You are getting a lot of work out for Wonder Boy, but the top lane should be the lane where you can maybe play a little bit more. You could try to run down with Jingu. You've got the Fire Spirits up now for Panyo. There are opportunities, but you do have to respect the full bore on Drake. Can get some free easy harass from a mile away without clearing out too many of the creeps. Can snipe out the range creep as well every single time, if need be. Although Akashi is dodging decently enough here, to be fair.
WS going to chase down Lloyd bottom lane. Young God's going to try and help out with the slows out onto WS, but even he's going to be a little bit cautious as the damage output is kind of ridiculous. So the hook from Lloyd only going to land onto the Hawk, sadly. There's one thing for Lloyd, like, even if he lands nice hooks, like, onto WS, it's going to be rather hard with those Hawks being available.
It is. Circling around, you have to get your timing right. Does make it just a little bit more painful. But again, you are getting this good lane out for Young God. Just a much slower lane for Talon. Double melee into Troll Pudge. You're not able to get the pulse off as well for Jokam.
Nice hook.
Good hook though.
Very
That's
nice
finally
hook.
connecting WS.
They got him. Not up from their help. In fact, it might mean he just... it seems like Young God will just prefer the creep wave anyway. But a very nice hook from Lloyd. He was looking for the angle for quite a while. In fact, he wants another. He's got it off cooldown now. Jokam. Oh, they've got no vision. He's alright. Meanwhile, top lane. Bit of a chase onto Drick, but Drick is going to be just fine. Akashi could not really keep up the chase. And so far, so good, I'd say, for the side of Salvation here, John. A much better start compared to Game 1.
And they're playing it a lot better in the lanes. They're keeping control, especially on the mid, quite nicely. And they are doing a pretty fantastic job. They even take away the water rune from Drick, slowing down Mikado. I think this mid lane is really where the big difference will be. Wonder Boy actually has a game. He does have early level advantage over Mikado. He's got a lot of damage. Mikado can't really get rotations in because of how much more constrained the side lanes are in comparison to game number 1. And again, Wonder Boy has control. So it is going to be a little bit tougher for the puck to try to collapse onto the side lanes. There are opportunities for One Boy, especially as he approaches 6, to start to threaten onto Mikado even solo. I think that is something to watch out for. Overall, this draft from Salvation, this flex on the Pudge, is paying off pretty nicely. It is making the game really awkward for Talon. The top lane's a little bit slower for Akashi. These initial timings will be met from Salvation, and the one great thing about Salvation's draft is it can also have some presence and push, right? Like, maybe the team fight's not as great in comparison to Wukong's egg protection with Dream Coil down the line, but you have some siege with your troll, you have really good single target control with Hook Dismember. As long as you can keep landing that, you have a lot of play here.
Chase onto WS, but they think better of it. Charge even onto the Pudge now. Rotations coming in as well from Ponyo to help out, as Young God's going to be the big target. Level 4, so he has no way out of this one apart from the hook from Lloyd, but it does not help. He is down. Lloyd will also drop by the looks of it. They might get Jokam as a trade, or they may just not. WS will take the kill. Jokam will survive. And it's happy days once again here for Talon. And sadly, if you are Lloyd, I don't think you can really afford to run up and try to rot your way to a kill. I think you have to rely on the hook to start these fights. And, well, it doesn't work out.
No, not quite. And a good read from Talon to have Ponyo go through the gate, get that punishment. That's a big target you want to slow down. As again, Young God has been getting a lot out of his lane. Still number 1 in net worth, but does balance out a little bit more with the rest. They do snipe out Wonder Boy with a charge out.
It's certainly good. Lloyd getting a nice hook, but it's going to cost his life. And, well, you know, it's one of those things with hooks. You don't always want to land them, even if you can, as they do get Ponyo. Lloyd is actually still running, actually making it out for now, as they'll ignore Drick altogether, still trying to pick up the Pudge, and they will. So 1 for 1 of the supports, not really the biggest deal either way. Lloyd does kind of force his teammate to rotate over to ensure that they do get some form of a trade, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's still stronger for Mikado, and I think overall you're kind of happy Ponyo dies. Free bottle refill as well for Mikado, so it does get to stay in this lane. They have been getting full value out of this mid ward. They did manage to get the D ward as well, for the sentry still standing. They are at least keeping the information game to their advantage here on Salvation in the mid. All these movements have opened up the top lane for Akashi to again overtake and farm now. Monkey King having a grand old time just laning solo up against Pango. The 1v1 matchup, definitely not something the Pango wants to sustain for too long. And 2-4, a much closer game in terms of the first 10 minutes at the very least here for Salvation. They are playing this one a lot stronger. Coordination is there. Slowly reaching into the level 6s as well. And once you've got this member, and once you've got roll, the options to take these fights open up a lot more. Got some good stacks as well for Rupido to clear out with Drick's help. It does hit 6 off the back of that, so some timings are being met. For Talon's part, again, it does feel like this is a slower game for Talon overall. You're just going to have to wait for Akashi to farm. He's going Battle Fury. It's going to be a long process for the Monkey King. Mikado is trying to go for the typical Witchblade on the puck. Nothing too different here. You still need more levels on your supports as well. So it is pretty much a waiting game. As WS
WS going to be in a bit of danger, but he does actually just run. Still the cookie and the Scatter Blast from Drick going to be more than enough to help secure the life of WS. Nice little pick off here from Salvation Gaming once again. Most of the supports here from Talon were actually hanging around Makoto, but now they're heading down towards the southern side of the map where they're going to find Lloyd. Lloyd's going to be alright. They could think about going after Young God or Drick, but they're going to need WS to be back in the lane before they even try for it, I think. And they'll hang around the area, they'll try to get some D-wards off, but that's going to really be about it. Not much is going to come out of this yet. It's a hook from Lloyd, not going to land onto Ponyo. Ponyo now going to turn on Lloyd, but Lloyd does have help around him. The cookie narrowly avoiding the cliff somehow. So they'll be okay. Here comes Makoto, though, to make matters even worse for Salvation. They will lose Drick. Lloyd looking for a hook. Beautiful hook. Gonna find Jokam. Jokam has no charge. It doesn't matter. He's fine. Wonder Boy. Here we go. The Ember wants a bit more. Charge out from Jokam. He's gonna fight it. Back the Dream calls out. Makoto. He's back in the fray. They found the Ember and they've even got Lloyd. Oh, that's a horrible scenario now for Salvation. That is a terrifying scenario as WS now keeping vision on Young God. The Hurricane back. Do they have a stun? They did, but they can't get it off in time. Oh, the Roar, just the cast animation is a bit too long.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Just came off cooldown as well for WS. If he had it a second earlier, he might have been able to find that. Still, 3-7, Talon starting to find their groove as well in this game. Salvation just kind of overextending in some of these fights, these opportunities, overcommitting for what seems to be easy pickoffs. Does take a huge blow. Almost finding a hook onto Mikado, but almost is not quite enough. Will at least get the haste out for Wonderboy. So again, denying off some resources for Mikado. I think the big thing that is missing is that all of this action happens bot mid. So top is just completely free. And Akashi's just free-farming his way into Battle Fury uncontested. Whereas for Young God, Maelstrom's almost done. The Monkey King, once Battle Fury's up, will have that farm pace down to Pat. Smoke out from Talon are starting to wanting to find more up top, relieve this pressure. They see the rotations come in. Coil is back up as well, and they've got Nether Strike now for Jokan.
Here we go. Nice hook out onto Akashi, but Akashi's got help right behind. A beautiful Dream Coil now locking onto 2. Egg dropped as well. Rupido's trying to rob, but there's nowhere to go. See you later. Rupido's down. No two ways about it. In comes the cavalry. They're going to try and fight this one out with a big Mortimer's Kisses trying to pick off Akashi. Though Akashi, he's still okay. They will try to slide a fist. They'll take him out, but Wonderboy's out of remnants. Can he make it out himself? Oh, he gets charged. He'll find a double. Wonder tips out here from Young God. And Wonderboy does make it out indeed. They cannot secure the kill. By the way, John, may I just add, I don't know if you and I have pointed this out yet, but they actually went for the Nether Strike, the imbalanced facet on Spirit Break.
That's an interesting one to take.
I think
Maybe just wanting to knock people out of Dream Coil?
I think that might be
Or not.
because remember you can ult cast Waning Rift to actually push people in and out.
Tower is under
So Nether Strike into that, and you basically knock them out of Dream Coil. Maybe even just Nether Strike.
Yeah. I feel like that is the only reason I see that. So see if the impact is felt. It does make it easier to try to get a jostling on December, I suppose. And that's a pretty big win for Salvation overall. Still, another hook.
Jokan, the easiest hook of his life. Wonderboy still able to pick up the Illusion Rune. I mean, it did cost them 5 heroes, basically 4 heroes rather, to rotate to ensure Wonderboy got that, but they will. Plus a kill is always going to feel nice that there is a rotation now from WS. Into the mid lane he'll go. Wonderboy is around Lloyd to help out. The WS still having a Gander. No Roar available, mind you, so they've got to do it the old-fashioned way. But they'll be just fine in doing so. They'll get it.
Trading supports in the end have a little bit of an opportunity to shove mid if they so wish for the army. WS is just going for the Overlord.
Radiant's middle
And old teammates, tipping each other. As Lloyd will tip WS from their old times. I keep forgetting which team. I feel like it was Atlantis or something like that. A long time ago, like 2-3 years back. And they all reunite. Him and Ponyo, actually. And Akashi having history with Urukura and Drick is also... It's quite funny how all of these players are interlinked, isn't it, Mike?
It is. It's kind of the T2 scene in a nutshell. Going into the Tier 1 scene, isn't it? Just everyone knows each other. It's nice, John. I like seeing it, especially when these teams get to land and they get to have a chat with each other. Maybe have a couple beers.
Yeah.
I like it. No, not that anyone speaks to me, John. They all come to you, of course. God forbid they speak to the non-Pinoy person in the duo, but,
scanning.
it is what it is.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
when we ran into White One and Zephyr, they're like, Mike, John Xfire? It's like
Yeah. They called me John X5. Even though they also called you John X5. And they were correct the first time. Makoto.
Oh, Mikado!
Very nice Rolling Thunder. Nice dismember. Makoto locked down. Makoto's got no chance. Lloyd with a beautiful setup here with the hook to throw out as WS now being chained up by Wonderboy. He'll try to heal up through this, though he's completely surrounded. WS just unable to walk his way out. Eventually will fall. Mike, you don't have anything like the Sunray available yet on Ponyo either, so there's no way he can actually heal him up. In fact, he went for the Dying Light Facet anyway, so Sunray probably wouldn't have been enough anyway.
Yeah, I do feel like this facet does make sense in that it's pretty much all melee cores. Only really the snap fire that does count as ranged, maybe the troll in range form as well. So you do get a lot of value from the Dying Light and Egg. But losing out in this healing does make it hard to take some prolonged fights. And again, we lack some save options. Mikado has to respect the hooks. They've got some good vision. They've got some good positioning. Lloyd has been showing that he can land these big hooks when need be. The game, 9-10. Still slightly in Talon's favor. They've got some massive stacks for Akashi to look for with his full Battle Fury up. So the full farm of the Monkey will kick into gear soon. But I do feel like you're finding enough here on Salvation. Like, you're getting a lot of space for Young God, going for the Gleipnir. Wonder Boy has been a menace with that full Mage Slayer up, just showing up in these fights. And the repositioning that they have with Hook has been hard to predict. I think that's the key thing for Talon. It's been pretty hard to get a read as to where Lloyd's hiding out. Their vision game isn't the best defensively as well. It is fairly far out. So they're not going to be able to, like, counteract when Salvation are the ones to make moves on them. Still, making their way onto the top tier 1. Should be able to find that. Talon just setting up a bot to keep shoving in. And they are buying space away from where WS and where Akashi is playing. Although there is a smoke play now from Salvation.
Yeah, they're moving from the top lane down towards the bot lane. Akashi's going to show himself in this bottom tier 2 tower, so they'll at least know where the most valuable hero on the map is right now. Ping's coming right out towards Akashi, but of course he can just tree dance his way out of there, no problem. And meanwhile, Ponyo actually dies on the Phoenix, so not the biggest kill in the world, just another support Phoenix kill to come out. Nobody really cares too much, though I'm sure Salvation Gaming will enjoy the kill. Talon just kind of back to the objective game. They're just farming and taking towers. No pressure.
Yeah, just getting that build up, working onto further items for Akashi, working onto... Well, you already have the full Overlord now for WS. You have the Ancient Creep that can show up. I think the big thing is just waiting for, I guess, when Mikado feels ready to playmake as well. He does have the blink with a Witchblade, so he does do quite a fair bit of damage. Has some angles to play with now. Or looking for the defense on the mid, or at least just preventing any move out. We'll go for the smoke. Again, Egg is ready, another strike's there. Coil is ready as well. Just need to find the right targets here.
I mean, Rupido's a pretty nice target if they can get him. Ponyo's going to break his smoke here on Rupido. Joe Camp, charge, eventually does come out, but the T2 tower is where Rupido will hang out by the blink, and that'll be enough for them to just retreat. Instead, though, I mean, WS can just freely take this bottom tier 2 tower. It's basically already dead. They'll force the glyph out. Won't really matter. WS will stick it around. Meanwhile, mid lane, you've still got Makoto and Ponyo hanging around Rupido, though Rupido going to play it safe and does avoid showing on that creep wave. And indeed, Talon do get away with the bottom tier 2 tower. There's no real punishment for this either from the Radiant end of things. I mean, they could try for Roshan. The pings are coming out towards the pit. So it seems as though that's what they're going to try for. They'll try for the Roshan attempt, perhaps.
It's a pretty dangerous area to be in if the Egg is in a good spot and the Wukong's in a good spot as well.
I think better of it anyway, because Wonder Boy was getting charged. They are looking to move in now. Salvation obviously retreating, but Akashi is straight up moving right towards the pit. And I don't really blame him for starting it himself. They are still the stronger team in all of this, especially around the pit. Very hard to take a team fight here as Salvation unless they land some nice hooks. And they've already left the building anyway. They're not going to hang around the Roshan pit at all. They're just going to give it away for free.
It's going to be a big loss for Salvation. Could have tried to make a gamble with the troll on hand. It doesn't take that long to clear out Roshan. Are just going to hang back and farm. Or going for the full SNY on Young God. Have a little bit of that stat res. Rosh falls fairly quick. Secondary life up now on Akashi. Going for his BKB into the Ags. So he's looking to be just frontline for his team. They did pop Egg.
They did.
Bit of a misclick, I suppose.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean,
Transcends
you know,
expectation.
you could make the argument he wanted to get his fire spirits off cooldown, you know, efficient farming. It's fair enough. I can respect that. I'm not gonna lie, John. I've done that a couple times myself. Not on purpose.
You're that efficient farming, huh, sir? Alright, fair enough, fair enough. Happens to the best of us, Michael Phoenix.
It does, and I
If
am
you did
the best.
actually do that for farming, I also wouldn't be surprised if you actually did that for farming, to be fair. I would not be. Like, you do it legitimately.
Like, my team's garbage. I need to farm faster. Press R.
Yeah, exactly. That's the mindset grind set, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 90% of that was true. I do call my team garbage pretty often. Not to their face, you know. In private, behind my monitor, I'm not toxic. Smoke up the cup. Torment is being taken. They are very low right now. And Lloyd might just be sacrificed here by Young God. And Lloyd run. Oh no! Oh, the hook.
Ooh.
Lloyd saves. No, he doesn't. Yeah, it's a beautiful dream call from Makoto, Jonathan. Lloyd trying his best to save his carry, who had kind of thrown him to the wolves anyway. But nonetheless, Karma, it cannot be stopped.
No. For Mentor for your core, probably not the best feeling in the world there. Slow siege again from WS. And the creep army doesn't take too long to find another tier 2 for free. Inside of Talon again, just slowly building up this lead. 4k up. Going into that BKB for Akashi as mentioned. Going for a full Maelstrom for Mikado. Perhaps into his own late mirror here for a little bit more hold as well.
I feel better
Be
already.
one way to go. Do still manage to snag the Wisdom Rune away. Good block from WS to use the boar to block the hook onto the Wisdom Rune. Rupido.
You're in a bit of danger. Hope you're right. Hey, Lloyd's got the bite up, so he can dismember his teammates now, and he's actually going for the Aether Lens build up, which, you know, as much as I can't believe I'm saying this, Aether Lens Pudge is actually viable now with the Facet, plus, of course, the shards, as they do jump the Ember. Roar is out, but the Cookie will allow them to get away. Rupido, in the meantime, he is being charged, but they will surely cancel the charge. No, never mind, they're going in. Joe Camp just rushes right into them. Dream coil out from Makoto, only connecting on one, but they've got the troll wall on. He'll break the coil, the hook away. Lloyd will try and save with the bite, and he does get him out of there for now. But Young God's just going to try to get the hell out. Just run. There is just no fight to be had.
No. Oh.
Yeah, I mean, that's a Yules.
Oh.
That's a hook, but the hook's missed out. Cookie, Akashi trying to mischief dodge, will miss out. Does still have the Aegis, mind you, so Akashi, he's going to donate one life away. Lloyd's got another hook available. Times it perfectly. A lot of damage being dealt. A dismember out. Akashi is going to BKB in time, but Akashi's still in huge danger. They'll pop the battle trance. Akashi does actually go down, but the egg does explode, and now the charge to come in. Young God is gone. Drick in trouble. They'll go for the Ember instead, lock him down. Wonder Boy will hook him right back out, but Makoto's still going, takes down the Ember. Can he make his own way out? He's going right back in. Makoto, oh, this member's going to lock him down. He's gone. Meanwhile, Rupido trying to run, but another roar available. Well, how long was the team fight?
Long enough. Long enough for it to get back on. Not the longest cooldown in the world. Tip out for Akashi as well.
Yeah, I mean, what's Akashi
Mikado
doing?
I don't know. I do not know what they're doing anymore. They're having some fun.
Akashi's Filipino, isn't he?
Yes.
I mean, Makoto can't tip him like that, John. We saw what happened last time. You can't just, you know, you can't do that. Suddenly you might have a couple more Filipinos in Talon. They're just, you know, gotta be careful. Didn't Savage teach him anything, John? What happened?
No. He's all good in the hood. You know, Talon?
No.
Yes.
He's protected.
I don't know.
He's a protected asset
Yes.
in Talon.
He's a protected asset. Yes. Of course. Still, the high ground should start to get protected here as well from Salvation. No outer towers left. Talon, a little bit messy. Admittedly, you know, this is not a clean game. Salvation are finding openings. We are making this draft work. We are kind of utilizing what they have well. For some reason, I just had some sort of brain bug in me, Mike. This is probably not viable, but I really want to see Drick get an Ags for Lloyd to eat Young God, and then they get spat out. I don't know why I want to see that. I still want to see that. You know, as they find one.
Well, it's a respectable wish. Ponyo's going to die. Charges out. Joe Camp does eventually cancel it off, but he really likes to get really quite on the edge. Makoto. Well, not drawn forward though. Actually, you know, ooh, another nice hook. Lloyd setting up once again. The BKB not going to help through the dismember. The Makoto doing a hell of a lot of damage on his own. But ooh, that Rubido, he's out with the Rolling Thunder, but the Jukes are there for Makoto. Hook off the mark. And Talon, they've got to retreat. I mean, they've lost 2 supports here. Not really well advised to stick around after that.
Certainly not. Again, you are finding some good ways of balancing this game out from Salvation with these hooks and with the ults to set up. They have amassed 2 ults for themselves just to get that done. It is paying off quite nicely here for Salvation. And for Talon, they still have room to grow. You are going into the Ags for WS and for Akashi. All Ags as well for Mikoto to play with the right click. So you will have a lot of output in those team fights once that's up. But they have to cut these losses on the hooks. Again, you have to really respect Lloyd, all these Yule setups they have made for themselves here. Are eyeing Young God just a bit.
He's got his BKB up at the very least here, John. So like he could actually take a fight. They're just keeping vision on the troll anyway. Not ooh, Young God. Okay, it's all right. They cancelled the charge. And he's got Lloyd behind him anyway. To be fair, the dismember is always going to be quite useful here for the troll.
And it is. I'm wondering what Lloyd's going for next. He has the Ag Shard queued up again, but you already have your Ag Shard, sir. Maybe a Blink. Wouldn't be too bad if you do want to use it offensively, and again, get a good angle in if someone's jump. Get the save with the Dismember. Have seen that change the way some of these fights break out as well. So wouldn't mind that too much if he gets room to find that full Blink. Still
Why is he
around 300 gold away. Exactly, I don't know. Double Shard. Double the Dismember to fit in yourself, perhaps.
I don't think that's how it works. Do you see how much
Should be a Blink.
The hook plus the facet does, by the way? Like
It
max
is
range
a
hook,
lot.
It took half Hakashi's HP disappeared with the max range hook. Like it's pretty ridiculous how much damage you can do.
It is. It is a ton of damage. Something that you have to respect. They've basically been winning off the back of this fudge in terms of holding on here.
Oh, straight up, Lloyd's kept them in the game for sure. But if you had a Bloodseeker Rupture plus that hook, I think you actually one-shot me. No?
Yep. Yeah, no, 100% they're just dead. They're dead.
That's amazing. We finally
Would
found
be
a use
funny.
for Bloodseeker. Go on, John.
I'm wondering if Blade Mail is a legitimate counter to that strat. Wouldn't they kill themselves as well?
True. It's a fair point, Jonathan. I like your thinking. Yeah, I'll try it, John. I'll pick a
We'll
blade
never
mail
see
up.
that.
I'll see if I can. I mean, you got to time it with
Pick
the
a
hook
blade
to be
mail.
fair, John.
Yeah, pick a Blade Mail standstill when you see the hook, pop it on.
Genius.
Smoke out here?
Absolute genius with Young X-Fire as usual. Young God going to find the ancient creep for himself. They didn't actually find WS. Ooh, WS.
That is
Touching the
massive
backside
range.
of it is a massive range with the Aether Lens. Don't try this.
Aether Lens and a Vizier.
Oh, Charger, Lloyd, in trouble. They want the punch straight off the bat. They don't want to mess around. The Rupido's going to try and help out, but they'll drop the egg. Rupido's going to be very cautious.
Oh.
What is that?
It's the facet.
How far can you knock them back? It's like Joe Camp's playing baseball now.
No, he's playing bowling. He got it in all the pins, Mike. His teammates. That's a strike. Very well played, Joe Camp.
You can't cast this shit properly, man. Like, every time you try to cast the game, something stupid happens.
No, yeah, no, we can't. No, we can't. No, we had a banger first series for ourselves. The shenanigans from Talon.
I looked in the Roshan pit, I saw Akashi as Roshan. I literally thought there was 2 Roshans for a second. I was like, wait, what's going on?
You really need those eyes checked, Mike. I know a guy here in Davao if you want some eye surgery done. Can wear the shades.
I could wear the shades. You're not wrong. Low shot. Gonna go the way of Talon now. Aegis up. Nice and easy. I actually considered getting that LASIK surgery, by the way, John. My eyes have been very bad as of late.
You don't even wear glasses. What do you mean? You're not going to be eligible if you can still somewhat see without glasses.
Well, why would I wear glasses, John? I've got eyes. You know? If my eyes don't work, then so be it. I'll live the way it is.
You're amazing.
Be a man.
Really, your
Be a man,
upbringing,
John.
Mike, really reflects your outstanding upbringing. It's really showing off. You have such a good background, Mike. This is very much inside jokes. I apologize to everyone else, but Mike, he's a wonderful fella, and he had a wonderful life, guys. That's all you need to know.
I did. Yeah.
You were in the movie. You're old enough to be in that movie. It's a Wonderful Life, are you not, Mike?
I don't think I've watched that movie, John.
No, I'm not.
You know what I did
surprised,
watch as of
but
late? I watched
What?
Mad Max as of late. That was a very good movie.
Furiosa?
No,
haven't seen
the
it yet.
first one. And I watched Furiosa recently in the cinema. Very good.
Wait, you mean like Mad Max, like the first one? The actual
mean
first, or
I mean the one
Fury
recorded
Road?
in Fury Road. Yeah, Fury Road.
Ah, I was very confused. I'm like, what? Mike's watching a film from the 80s? I'm sure it's Australian, but it's out of character for you, Mike.
I was saying, it's a great movie.
It is good.
I liked it.
The guitar guy is definitely the MVP. I feel like I feel like there should be a Dota 2 hero like that, you know? I mean, you know, Beastmaster's something like that. But you know, he's not flamboyant enough with the drums. I still feel like the guy needs a drum animation.
I can't believe they didn't
Can you imagine
add
if there was a band?
They should literally do the Arcana to be the gorilla. Like the Cadbury chocolate gorilla. It'd be like, it's the best idea that we've
What
got.
do you... Cadbury Chocolate Gorilla.
Wasn't that the ad?
I
you not see the
actually
ad?
don't know what you're talking about. No.
Oh my god. I'll send you a link afterwards, John.
Alright. No.
You missed out.
What I have in mind, no, you've got drums on Beastmaster. That's fine. We needed a guitarist. No, I guess Hoodwink plays the harp or whatever, the lyre on her immortal. That's fine, but we need a guitar player. No, we need a guitar player. We need a bassist.
Doom plays the guitar, John.
has a guitar. Yeah, should have some sort of
Hook.
AOE.
Kashi's gonna dodge out the hook. I should have never brought up that movie, by the way. I knew you'd never shut up.
Imagine if the Doom cosmetic with the drum, with the guitar, had him playing the guitar while Doom was up.
Kisses.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Dakota's gonna jump in. Battle strike out for the punch. I didn't listen to a word you said just so you're aware. I'm focusing on the He's got the Beastmaster. WS doesn't get caught, but he's got the drop from Slom John. He can heal through this. WS, he
Oh,
just mans
God.
up. Look at this. Look at this. He just manned up against Young God. Young God's
Oh
gone.
my god.
No, it's just, you hook him into the tier 4 towers and he just says, excuse me, sir. I'll go for that fight.
Has the cheese usage as well. Still able to sustain the fight. And they get the one buyback on Lloyd, but no buyback on Young God. Didn't even manage to pop the battle trance. Great egg out from Ponyo to make that fight really hellish.
Oh, does not miss. Does not connect, rather. Makoto, he'll orb away. Still chasing. I mean, they're very desperate here with this chase. Charge cancelled off here from Jokam. Wukong's command is out, really landing on nothing, but Boundless Strike does land onto Wonder Boy, so now he's in danger as the Ember. Jokam, charge, doesn't have the vision. Still, Makoto just continues to chip away, he just does not give a crap. Maybe around again onto WS, but I actually don't think he can kill him right now.
Knock back. No
What
way.
is the distance? What is that distance? Maybe
No
it is
way.
broken. Maybe the facet's broken.
Oh my god.
Rupido's down. How are you meant to play against them? Like Jokam, he can literally nether strike you, and they've got no idea how far they're going to travel. Like it's
No.
too much.
It's way too much. Tips out for Apache for whatever reason here. As Talon do take